Good evening and welcome to a summary of news at 10. Daesh has claimed responsibility for a car bomb attack at the Italian consulate in Cairo early this morning. Preliminary investigations indicated that the bomb was placed on their car near the consulate and remotely detonated, killing one Egyptian civilian and wounding 10 others. 2 policemen were among the wounded, and there was no Italian victim in the blast. Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahleb said Egypt is at war and urged the world to unite against terrorism. Italy's Foreign Minister Paolo Gentiloni reacted to the attack.
The attack against our consulate comes in a context in which we need to see it as a very serious terrorist threat, to which Italy will respond with firmness without alarmism and confirming in our full commitment in the international efforts against the Daesh.
In Syria, the Syrian army is said to be closing in on Daesh terrorists in control of Palmyra in a major offensive to recapture the city of Roman ruins. The Syrian state news agency said yesterday Syrian warplanes targeted Daesh groups near Sha'id oil field and Palmyra and gained territory in Bayarat. It said the attack inflicted heavy losses in fighters and equipment. Elsewhere, an army airstrike on a Daesh-controlled town in the north killed at least 28 people, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The observatory said 19 civilians, including 3 children, were among the dead in the helicopter attack on Al-Bab near Aleppo. The Syrian military, however, denied the report. In Afghanistan, meanwhile, a Daesh commander named Hafiz Saeed was killed by a U.S. airstrike in the east of the country. A Pakistani Saeed was the 4th ex-Taliban who declared loyalty to Daesh terrorists to be assassinated within a week. He was among an increasing number of senior Taliban members who have switched allegiance to Daesh. According to security officials, Saeed was the leader of Daesh in the so-called Khorasan state, which refers to the old name the terrorists gave to Afghanistan and Pakistan. He was killed along with 30 other radical fighters in Ashin district of Nangarhar province, which fell to Daesh late last month. Over the past 24 hours, the U.S. and allied forces carried out 34 airstrikes against Daesh in Syria and Iraq. 12 of the airstrikes in Syria hit various Daesh targets near the city of Hasakeh, while 17 other airstrikes in Iraq hit near 8 cities, including 4 near the northern city of Mosul, according to the U.S. military statement. The Lebanese army said an Israeli civilian's plane crashed into the seaport of the northern coastal city of Tripoli. The army said in a statement the plane belonging to the Israeli army had crashed this morning. Local residents said it had crashed in the sea. A security source said it was an unmanned drone. And over to Yemen, where Saudi-led airstrikes and heavy shelling between warring factions shook several cities, violating a UN humanitarian truce which took effect just before midnight. According to residents, air raids hit Houthis and Yemeni army units in the capital and in the city of Taz in Aden. Residents also reported intense artillery exchanges between the fighters and local militiamen. A truce was to take effect for 1 week to allow humanitarian aid into the country. Back here at home, Royal Court Chief Faiz Tarawner received Yemeni Vice President and Prime Minister Khalid and discussed with him bilateral ties as well as the situation in the country. Tarawner echoed His Majesty the King's stand on the need to preserve the unity of Yemen and reinstate security and stability in the country. Tarawner said Jordan continues to exert effort toward finding a political solution to the conflict in Yemen and in other Arab states facing a similar situation in the interest of the entire region. Iran and the United States and other major world powers struggled to break a deadlock in nuclear talks. Iran and the 6 powers have given themselves until Monday to reach a nuclear agreement, their 3rd extension in 2 weeks, as the Iranian delegation accused the West of throwing new stumbling blocks to a deal. Among the biggest sticking points at the moment is Iran's insistence that a UN Security Council arm embargo and ban on its ballistic missile program be lifted immediately if an agreement is reached. Russia has been publicly supporting Tehran on this issue. As Eurozone finance ministers meet in Brussels to decide on a third bailout for Greece, the Greek economy minister said capital controls on banks will remain in place for at least another 2 months. The minister, George Stathakis, told media in Athens that banks could reopen as soon as next week if an agreement with creditors is reached this weekend. In a parliament debate which ended early today, 10 Greek lawmakers from left-wing Syriza either abstained or rejected a roadmap of reform that Greek government is negotiating with international creditors in a last-ditch attempt by Greece to stave off bankruptcy. Stathakis said dissenting lawmakers, including ministers, should step aside if they disagree with government policies over bailout reform. Serena Williams claimed a 6th Wimbledon title and 4th successive Grand Slam crown by suppressing the Spaniard Garbiñe Muguruza in today's women's final 6-4, 6-4. The world number one was simply too powerful and too consistent for surprise 21-year-old finalist Muguruza, who began with a positive approach but could not maintain her early high level. Williams now holds all 4 majors at the same time, the so-called Serena Slam, having also won the US, Australian and French Open titles. And finally, normal summer condition will prevail in the hilly areas, but it will be relatively hot in the Badia and the Jordan Valley. Winds will be northwesterly moderate, picking up at times. Temperatures in Amman will range between a high of 32 degrees Celsius and a low of 19 degrees, while in Aqaba they will reach a high of 37, dropping down to 25 degrees at night. And with this we come to an end. I'm Farah Ajlouni. Thank you for watching and have a good night.